Now that we've looked at the different types of cells, let's talk about how we can quantitatively analyze them. First, we're going to start off with the definition. The voltage. The voltage is an electrical potential difference between the oxidation and reduction processes in the half cells of the electrochemical cells. So essentially what we're focusing on is one half cell is the cathode, the other is the anode. The cathode undergoes reduction and the anode undergoes oxidation. Those two things may not have the same potential to undergo reduction and oxidation though. So we can quantitatively look at that through voltages to see which is going to be the stronger oxidizing or reducing agent. The electric potential differences are typically shown as standard reduction potentials. So that's going to be abbreviated by E standard cell reduction. So remember that little degree symbol means that we're at standard conditions. And the RED for reduction. If we want to think about oxidation, then we just need to flip the sign and the direction of the half reaction. You're going to see these things in the form of a table, and this table is going to be given to you whenever you need it. This table is not something that I would like you to copy down. The AP instead will give you the information as you need it. And the nice thing about the AP test, they will not give you extra information. It's just up to you to decide which is the oxidation, which is the reduction. Now, like I said, all of these are shown as reduction potentials. And the item at the top with the most positive value is the most likely reduction reaction. At the bottom, the most negative would be the least likely reduction. If we think about least likely, that's actually the most likely oxidation. So potassium prefers to be oxidized, but fluorine prefers to be reduced. And we can tell that because of the voltage value. Positive prefers reduction, negative prefers oxidation. Now, as we try to calculate what's happening in an entire cell, we have this standard cell potential equation. This is on your reference sheet. Now, the anode undergoes oxidation. Remember the little mnemonic, anox. And that means that the negative sign in this equation is already accounting for the fact that we have to flip the sign in this equation. So we're not actively going to take something like potassium at negative 2.93. We're not going to flip that to positive. The negative symbol already is accounting for that. So we literally just take our numbers and plug them into the equation. We just have to identify which is the anode, which is the cathode. Another important thing with this equation, it does not account for stoichiometry. So we do not care what's happening in the balanced chemical equation. You are going to have to write balanced chemical equations, but those coefficients do not influence this equation at all. Alright, so let's look at an example using a cell that we've already looked at. Remember, this is a galvanic cell between zinc and copper. We can see the electron flow is going in the direction of the copper, and therefore reduction is happening at the copper. So that's going to be your cathode. The anode is where the oxidation happens. So this is going to be your anode. So if we want to find the standard cell potential, then we need to kind of break this down into the half cell reactions. At the anode, we have the oxidation. Remember, anox. The zinc is being oxidized from a 0 to a 2+ charge. We can then use this table to identify the potential for reduction for the anode is negative 0.76 when we're talking about zinc. I get that directly from the table here, negative 0.76. The cathode is where we have reduction. We have the copper being reduced from a 2+ to a 0. And if we use our table, we can see that copper is a 0.34. So the overall net ionic equation involves zinc being oxidized and copper being reduced. So if we quantify the efficiency or the potential of this electrochemical cell, we're going to take the voltage of the cathode minus the anode. And again, notice we're taking this value directly from the table. We're not flipping the sign. The negative sign in this is already accounting for the fact that we would need to flip the sign. So this has a positive value, which is going to tie directly into the fact that this is a spontaneous or favorable thermochemical cell. So speaking of thermodynamics, when we have a cell potential for a favorable reaction, favorable reactions are your galvanic and your voltaic cells, you should have a positive voltage for the cell potential because these are thermodynamically favorable. When we have an unfavorable reaction or an electrolytic cell, then we should have a negative voltage for the cell potential. Now this makes sense because we have an external power source that needs to overcome this deficiency in electrolytic cells. The external voltage is going to help us get over this negative voltage that the cell produces in order for the reaction to happen. So spontaneous or favorable reactions thermodynamically will have a positive voltage. Unfavorable will have a negative. Let's look at some practice problems. So here we have a electrochemical cell, and automatically we can see that this is going to be a voltaic cell because we have a salt bridge, and there's two half cells. So now we have to look at this and we have to identify what is the anode and what is the cathode. Remember, red cat, reduction happens at the cathode. So we're going to identify zinc as our cathode and aluminum as our anode. Here's the practice problems. You can pause the video and try to solve these problems on your own. Remember, for number 1, we need to also balance the electrons in a redox reaction. Alright, let's take a look at these. So when we're writing the balanced ionic equation for an electrochemical cell, we have to make sure that we're understanding which is the anode and which is the cathode. So these pieces of information, these half reactions, currently are shown as reduction half reactions. We're going to have to flip one of these reactions. So we can see that zinc is being reduced from a 2+ to zinc solid, and that reduction is happening at the cathode. So this equation we're just going to take directly from the half reaction, and we're going to use that. The oxidation, however, we need to flip the direction of the reaction because currently it's being shown as a reduction, but it's being oxidized. The next thing you have to recognize with redox reactions, we have to balance the number of electrons that are being produced and absorbed. So the common multiplier is 6, so we have to multiply our reduction reaction by 3 and our oxidation by 2, so that way we have a net number of electrons as 6. We can then take the sum of the redox and of the reduction and oxidation reactions, and that will give us the overall net reaction for this electrochemical cell. When we're determining the E cell, we first need to identify what is the anode and what is the cathode. We said that zinc is the cathode, and that's where the reduction occurs. So we're going to set that up so that the information at the cathode goes first. And notice we're taking this directly from the chart. So zinc is at the cathode, and then the anode is the aluminum. We're just taking that exact same value. We do not have to flip the sign because the equation already has a negative sign in there. That negative sign accounts for the fact that we would have had to flip it. Here's another practice problem. Now, this practice problem, immediately when you see this thing, you should see that 1, it's one container, and 2, there's no salt bridge. So that tells us that this is going to be an electrolytic cell. So take some time to try to solve these. You can pause the video now. Alright, looking at this problem, first we have to identify what is the anode and what is the cathode. Now for electrolytic cells it can be a little bit more difficult, so what I like to do is follow where the electrons are going. Remember, reduction is gaining electrons. So it seems like this red electrode is gaining electrons because that's where the electrons are traveling. So this is going to be our reduction location for our cathode, and then we're going to have our anode. Anode is oxidized. Now this one's a little bit different because we only have one reactant here. It's all in the same solution. This is the electrolysis of water. So notice it says that we have water here. So for this, our equation is going to be pretty complicated here. And this is why we selected this as a practice problem. So the first thing, we have to identify what is being reduced and what is being oxidized. Now, for both of these, your reactant is water. So we have to take this first half reaction and we have to flip it so that water is a reactant and not a product. So that's going to end up being our reduction reaction. That's our oxidation reaction. So we had to flip that so that our water is a reactant, and that is our oxidation. We know that's oxidation because if we look at the diagram, O2 is being produced from the oxidation. We're losing electrons and producing O2, and now we have O2 as a product. Then the other one is our reduction, and we have water as a reactant and hydrogen gas as a product. The hydrogen gas is being produced as this is being reduced. Then we have to balance the number of electrons. So we have 2 electrons in one and 4 in the other. So we can multiply our reduction half reaction by 2. So that way we equalize the number of electrons. Then we're going to sum everything to try to get our net ionic equation. Now, when we take hydroxides and hydrogen ions and we add those together, that's going to give us water. Now remember, we multiply this by 2, so it's technically 4 hydroxides and 4 hydrogens. So when we bring that down and sum it, we have 4 H2Os. But if we have H2O on the left and on the right, then we need to simplify. So 6 H2O and 4 H2O is going to reduce to just give us 2 H2O on the reactant side. And this is going to be our net ionic equation here. Then we have to solve for the cell potential. Once we've identified what the cathode and the anode is, then the work is pretty much done for us. Remember, the cathode undergoes reduction, red cat. So the H2 as a product came from the reduction. So this is going to be our reduction value, reduction at the cathode, so that's why that value goes first. Then we have minus the value of the anode. Remember, we don't actually have to flip the sign. The equation has the negative sign built in there for us, so we're just going to take this 0.70, and then we subtract those two, and we get a negative 1.53. This should make sense to you because this is an electrolytic cell. Remember, electrolytic cells are non-favorable when we're talking thermodynamics and therefore have negative voltages. So that completes the 9.7 and 9.8 notes. If you need some extra help, please reach out to me and we will continue moving on.